sababu hatuna bana. Si mtatuchagua watu wa Ngariema.
Waiguru has also threatened to lodge a complaint before IEBC, seeking to bar one of her unnamed opponents from contesting in the August polls for allegedly destroying and defacing her campaign materials. The governor, who is seeking a re-election for a second time, says the political sideshows will not deter her from the important task of explaining to the electorate what her administration has achieved and what it intends to achieve in the next term should she be re-elected.
Hakuna upande ya Kirinyaga hatujaguza. Kule ambapo kujaguzwa ndio tunaomba miaka ingine 5 ndio tuweze kufanya nini? Kumalizia.
For Lunchtime News, I'm Gladys Mongai.
And police in Juja, Kiambu County are investigating an incident in which a woman died mysteriously at a hair and beauty company. Pauline Mutindi is alleged to have passed on at the company's lavatories after falling ill. It is reported that the late had earlier sought permission from her supervisor to be released from duty for medication, but in vain.
According to her co-workers, the hair and beauty company management was to blame for the death, citing negligence over the health concerns of its workers. The workers claimed the late Pauline Mutindi sought permission from the supervisor on duty, but in vain, a move that allegedly led to her death at the company's lavatories. Through their union's Deputy Secretary General, Margaret Nderitu, the workers faulted the company management for not honoring a collective bargaining agreement that governs the operations at the beauty company.
Lazima mfanyikazi apatiwe haki yake kulingana na sheria.
The workers now want justice to be served to the family of the late and proper working conditions implemented.
Alikuwa anatuambia hiyo kampuni ya Angels, alikuwa anatuambia ukiomba ruhusa unanyimwa ruhusa, na ukikataa kukuja kwa kazi unafutwa kazi. Sasa hiyo shida ndio ilifanyika kwa hiyo kampuni. Sisi kama familia tunataka hiyo kampuni isaidie huyo msichana wetu haki yake, apate haki yake.
Kati ya hiyo maneno yote, malipo yetu huwa inakatwa. Kuna shilingi ambayo haingiangi kwa zenye huwa zinalipwa. Kama ni 670 inaingiaga kama 665. 5 babu wanakula, inaenda kwa management, kwa mifuko yao.
Efforts by the media to get a comment from the company's management proved futile. Irene Mchuma Udim, The Lunchtime News.
Westlands Member of Parliament Tim Wanyonyi says the choice of running mate has changed the dynamics of Kenyan politics. Wanyonyi said the choice of Martha Karua as the Azimio la Umoja Alliance presidential aspirant will be a game changer in the August poll.
As campaigns gain momentum, Westlands Member of Parliament Tim Wanyonyi has fancied the chances of Azimio la Umoja winning in the general elections.
Who is known for, she's a no-nonsense person, and she means what she says and what she does. And we have seen even in the past, when she did not like some things which was happening in the Mwai Kibaki government, she resigned and left the government.
Wanyonyi said his coalition stands a better chance of winning the presidency.
Eliminate corruption from the public sector and all round, because whatever is bedeviling us is as people, is the wastage that we have in government and other sectors.
Meanwhile, Sirisia Member of Parliament John Waluke has accused Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka of holding Azimio at ransom.
Achukue Charity Ngilu, shikilie jamii ya Wakamba na tuendeshe campaign tuende mbele, because imepaki siku 60 peke yake na tuko tayari.
The lawmaker argues that Kalonzo's irreducible minimums makes it difficult for affiliated parties in the coalition to welcome him back with open arms. Finally, Bumula Member of Parliament Mwambu Mabonga has urged civil servants to keep off politics.
Kama wewe ni minister, kuwa minister wa serikali, si minister wa mrengo wa siasa. You should not be Azimio, you should not be Kenya Kwanza. Waachia sisi wanasiasa tufanye siasa, wewe utumia wananchi.
We now want to head over to the KICC in Nairobi, where the World Cup trophy is in the country. And we do have a team there on standby. Dan Wendwa is going to join us live with an update.
The second day of the trophy tour, where it has been laid here today for the public to view. We witnessed yesterday at around 12:10 the World Cup landed to Kenya, and it was taken directly to the President of Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta. And now today we are here, and there are a lot of fans, a lot of activities are happening today, and we happened to meet one of the biggest football fan in Kenya. So thank you very much. Welcome.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Bernard Omondi Oduor. I'm a Kenyan. I'm a fan of football. And through the contribution of football as a fan, I have come out with a documentary to share my story with FIFA and Coca-Cola, with a great partnership between them, so that they can know how they have reached communities through sports.
Now we can see some of the things here. Would you mind demonstrating a few of why you decided to create this structure, and what does it mean in both football and for us as Kenyans?
Because the original football starts from FIFA, most of us think that FIFA is only when the World Cup is being played. FIFA is the original of football, and FIFA has got the programs. We have the 7 programs of FIFA: Legends program, community program, refugee program, the school program, volunteer program. Those programs of 5, they are coming to the world. This is the world of football. So this world of football, this is the arm of FIFA, which is FIFA for the world, for the game. So here, FIFA has partnered with Coca-Cola to reach all the world, the boundaries of the world. This is the world of football. All this red color is the boundaries of Coca-Cola. So it's through the Coca-Cola that they have partnered with FIFA to reach football, to share with us the great moment as football. So through this program, under the Legends program, I came up with the idea to celebrate one of our greatest legends in football, Arsene Wenger. So this seat belongs to Arsene Wenger. It means that leaders, players and fans, when they come together to support football, you will become a champion. So I believe that being a champion in the world, leaders, fans and players, they need to come together with equal distribution for you to become a champion. So this is the reason why I made this document.
So we can see you also have a book over here. Would you mind taking us through the book and giving us some of the information about the content in that book?
So this book is under title of Coca-Cola, Reaching Communities Through Sports. It is covered in Kibera. This is the background of Kibera, where I stay. I fabricated this book, this art in Kibera. And my journey through sports started when I was young. I was like 9 years old or 7. So when I start with the highlights, I have been a fan of the French football. And today I'm happy that I will see the World Cup as a defending champion fan. So when I started my journey through football, this is how I was. I was like this boy here, Arsene. So when I say football, my grandfather is the one who inspired me to football. So he was telling me about world football. So the world football under FIFA World Cup, I started to think about World Cup. So that is the reason why I knew the French football through World Cup. So this had been my story. These activities when I was in school. These activities as a handwork. I am a technician by profession, but I do support my activities through my work. So this work has been supporting me to enter into a football fan. This is my family in football, my children. This is Arsene, when he was young. Today he's a player. This is family. This is the whole family in the house where we support football, not only as an Arsenal fan, but also the world of football as a French football fan. So when we move like this, I started a community program to show football to the world, to the people in the community, so that they can be able to understand how is football. Young people can be able to join these halls to watch football, so that there should be no violence, though there's not the prohibition between adults and children, because most of the bars are the ones that are offering these games. So I took my time to prepare this document so that they can be able to understand that contribution of football starts from the community work. This is one of the community work that I do to show football in Kibera. So the hall, when it is full, this celebration. So through that program, I've been making effort to meet the legends of the world.
Now, it is as we conclude on when you meet Balletti, Giuliano Balletti now, what can you tell him since he scored the most crucial goal to give Barcelona the title back 2006?
Back 2006 it was heartbreaking for me as an Arsenal fan, and I knew that we'll bounce back. But through the journey we have never succeeded, but I know that one day through our legends who are also working hard to come back to the club so that they can be able to develop our football, we will bounce back. Thank you. Thierry is a world champion, and through this program, this is the world champions 98 2018. This is
okay.
Yes.
Okay. We will be updating more and more in our 7 and 9 p.m. bulletin. Back to you in studio.
Thank you, Dan. Dan Mwendwa is at the KICC. The FIFA World Cup is in the country. Yesterday, the president received it at State House, and today it is open for public viewing. Of course, that's also a report that we'll be giving you a little bit later in the day in our subsequent bulletins. Moving on, the Nakuru Level 5 Hospital has expanded its mental health facility through the commissioning of a new psychiatric wing. The hospital, through its newly refurbished ward, will now be in a position to admit more than 50 patients as it seeks to cater for mental health wellness in the area. The psychiatric wing has so far benefited residents from the neighboring counties, including patients from Tanzania and Burundi. The county administration has also urged residents to be more supportive of patients suffering from mental illness in the community.
Mental health has been forgotten largely in the country, partly because the victims of mental health don't have a voice. And even when they try to do it, the fear of stigma is normally very high.
But we are glad that today we have not only a psychiatric wing, but something we can call a home to our patients. Currently, we have more than 50 patients. And as you walked around, Your Excellency, you noticed that we also have foreigners from Tanzania, from Burundi. We also have patients from other counties. Most of them do not know their homes. Most of them have been abandoned. Therefore, it is my kind request to request your office and your government to look into a way, because as a facility, we are here to offer treatment.
And the Ogiek community in Kericho has expressed its dissatisfaction with the slow implementation of the Africa Court of Human and People's Rights, which recognized their ancestral land. Led by their chairperson, Francis Maritim, the members of the community blamed the government for taking long to implement the court ruling, despite having been given a timeline of 6 months.
Court on Human and People's Rights at its 45th session on 26 May 2017 in Arusha, Tanzania, ruled that the Ogiek indigenous people's rights were being violated by denying them land. The Arusha-based court recognized the Ogiek's legal right to live in the Mau forest and their freedom to continue their traditions where they practiced beekeeping and hunting. Maritim, who was speaking at Soget Forest during the commemoration of the 5 years since the court ruling, said the Ogiek community, who are about 35,000 in number, live in 6 counties, namely Kericho, Baringo, Nakuru, Narok and Western Gishu, and should be resettled on the original land as per the court ruling.
Nakumbusha serikali ya kwamba tunasherekea ile siku mulisema miezi 6, sasa ni miaka 5. Je, mnapuuza kotini ama mnakaa mkifuata sheria ya koti? Kwa vile sasa koti kule Arusha signatories ni Kenya, wanalipa kule, na kwa nini wa implement na ni koti kuu? Hayo ndio mambo ambayo tunajua itatekelezwa, na tunaomba iharakishwe, kwa sababu hakuna haja sisi tunakaa nje na ardhi ni yetu, tushashinda. Ni nini tena? Kama nimeshinda kitu ni yangu, koti imenipea, kwa nini una delay naye?
A community representative from Baringo County appealed to President Uhuru Kenyatta to intervene on the matter, saying the members of the community have suffered enough.
Ningetaka kutoa maombi specially kwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya Muigai Kenyatta asikie maombi yetu leo, yale uamuzi ambayo mahakama ilikuwa imetoa, a speed up the implementation ambayo koti ilitoa kwa sababu ya jamii ya Ogiek. Kusema ukweli, tuna haki kama jamii ya Ogiek.
Trevor Ngendo, Lunchtime News.
Moving on, Bobasi Constituency College students of Kenyenya Teachers Training College have accused the area MP Innocent Obiri of undermining their education by withholding bursaries. The students, led by Ivan Soyaro, claimed the students of the institution had not received the financial assistance through the Area National Constituency Development Fund this year. They called on the legislator to address their grievances to avert unnecessary friction.
CDF funds tulikuwa tumeapply since January up to now, we have never received any communication from the office. Tukijaribu kuuliza wanatuambia kesho. So tuliamua leo kufika hapa sisi wenyewe tupatiwe hiyo pesa.
Tuko hapa kudai haki yetu. We don't know where we went wrong with our MP. Other constituents wameapply bursary zao even after we had applied ours na hawajapata mpaka saa hizi. Wengine wanatoka nyuma wanaapply wanapatiwa zao. Sisi zetu zimekwama. We don't know what is happening with our money.
Tumaini yetu ilikuwa kwa CDF. Tumengoja CDF kutoka tulipoingia shule, hatujawahi pata CDF. Walimu wanataka kusoma, lakini serikali pia imetupatia pesa. Tulipie pesa zetu ambazo tuko na haki ya kupata.
And elsewhere, Kajiado residents are set to benefit from a 132 million shillings modern casualty and outpatient complex at Kajiado County Referral Hospital. The project is funded by the World Bank through the Ministry of Devolution Support Program, which aims to reduce congestion within the referral hospital. Speaking during the commissioning of the project, Kajiado County Governor Joseph Olelenku reiterated his commitment in improving the health sector by ensuring residents can access good and improved health services. Kajiado CEC in charge of health, Esther Somoire, said the hospital has been experiencing congestion in the casualty wing, adding that the new wing will ensure patients will be at ease when undergoing various stages of treatment. The project is expected to take 3 months to completion.
Ukikuja hapo Wednesday, sometimes we have 500 people in that small space, outpatient hapa. Kwa hivyo hii project, Your Excellency, it means a lot to even our staff here and of course wananchi.
Kama serikali tumekuwa consistently tukimeet hiyo threshold ya World Bank na donors wengine ambaye kama hatungefanya hivyo hatungepata hii maendeleo mengi. Pia tumekuwa tukitoa upande wetu. Most of these donor funded projects have what they call a counter fund. Pesa kutoka kwa upande wetu na hata support zingine kama ardhi, na tumekuwa kama serikali ya county tukimit hizo conditions.
Ndio tukawapa milioni 132 ambazo hizo pesa zinaingizwa kwa mradi mpaka mfunguliwe mradi muitumie, na contractor amesema hiyo itafanyika kabla mwisho wa mwezi wa 7 mwanze kutumia. Kwa hivyo wahudumu wa afya mwisho wa mwezi wa 7 tutakuwa mmeingia hapa, kwa sababu pesa tayari tumetuma ziko kwa account na ziwezi tumika kwa chochote kingine isipokuwa kwa huu mradi.
All right, thank you. Then you address it.
Crossing over to Kiambu County, 13 robbery suspects have been arrested during a police raid in Kiamumbi, Ndumberi and Gatondo. 2 fake pistols, a homemade AK-47, 2 motorbikes, pangas and dangerous weapons were recovered from the suspects.
Confirming the arrest, the Kiambu County Commander Parminas Kioi said that among the 13, 6 of the suspects are among a list of most wanted criminals. Kioi noted that the rest are security guards who lost their jobs and resulted to criminal activities.
Nataka kushukuru maofisa yangu sana kwa ile kazi njema wamefanya kufuatilia kesi mpaka wakamata hiyo vitu kwa kitu rahisi, na pia nataka kurudishia wananchi shukrani kwa jumla kwa kutupokeza hiyo habari na vile wametuongoza pia wakati tulikuwa tunaenda kulikava hiyo vitu.
Among the items recovered from the gang were National Youth Service uniform, fake pistols among other crude weapons, and hundreds of stones of bang worth over 200,000 shillings.
Also to assure the resident of Kiambu that they are very safe. All the crimes which are being reported in Kiambu, within a space of time we have arrested those criminals.
The recovery of various identity cards and SIM cards was also a boost to help in identifying and nabbing more suspects who may in one way or another have been involved in criminal activities. Edwin Austin for Lunchtime News.
Moving on, youths in Kisii County are being enlisted into beekeeping to woo them away from indulging in drug abuse, intoxicating substances and crime. Walter Osinde, an unemployed primary school teacher, has excelled in beekeeping, honey processing and the sale with scanty training. He has turned the activity into a business venture, commanding demand for his skills from interested farmers in the area and beyond. Osinde says he learned the skills as an apprentice on an amateur basis from his father at a young age, and owing to the proceeds from beekeeping, he has been able to comfortably meet his young family's financial commitments. The beekeeper's experience in the industry has led him to being hired by the county government and individual farmers to install beehives, where he had trained over 10 of them. He is also engaged by farmers to harvest honey at a fee in the larger Gusii region.
Na hiyo mizinga kila nyuki wako ndani na ile tu michache tu kwa sababu ya kutoa. Kuna shamba nilikuwa nanunua, hii ndio sababu au nyuki wengine wakaenda. Kwa hivyo tangu nianza kufuga ufugaji wa nyuki, kuna mashamba matatu nimenunua kutoka kwa hiyo asali. Nimefundisha watu kazi ya ufugaji wa nyuki, tuseme wakiwa wachache kabisa ni watu 10. Na hao wanaendelea. Mmoja hii asali wakati aliweka ilimsaidia kaongeza pesa kidogo akanunua gari. Kwa hivyo yako sawa. Na nimefanya kazi ya serikali Kisii County hapa huko Nyosia, niwekea mizinga ni mingi. Hata sasa nadhani mizinga yao inaendelea vizuri sana. Wanipatia contract nilimaliza.
And it is now time for our break, our very first break here. But on the other side of this break, I will be having a conversation with Joseph Mageru, who is the chairman of Kenya's campaign for safer alternatives, on the topic of taxation of tobacco. So do stay tuned for that.
Tarehe 28 Mei barabara zote zinaelekea Harris Tavern, Nairobi. Manake kutakuwa na kongamano kubwa sana la rumba siku hiyo. Kikosi kizima cha Bridge Over Congo kimeandaa tamasha kali sana kwa nyinyi wapenzi wa muziki wa rumba.
Oh yes, there will be lots of fun. Talk of nyama choma, lots of drinks, lots of giveaways from KBC, and not forgetting to mention rumba music with DJ Walter. Oh, and did I mention that there'll be free t-shirts for the first 100 people. Hey, you are going to me making it. Hey, you are going to me.
Nitakuwa siku hiyo. Tafuta sheri. Kama una sheri, omba sheri. Nitakuwa your host Simeon Mfumo with my running mate
Winnie Marie Jose. Yay!
Six partner states, 300 million people, and a combined GDP of more than 240 billion US dollars. The East African community is becoming bigger and broader. But is this good for the regional bloc?
The benefits will be felt immediately, and indeed they're already being felt by way of certain industries like the banking sector taking a first mover advantage of going and seeing how they can promote businesses between the East African community.
This week on Inside Government, we're talking to the Principal Secretary in the State Department of EAC, Dr. Kevin Desai, on the importance of DRC Congo becoming a member of the East African community, and what does this mean for Kenya. Watch the conversation right here on KBC Channel 1.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Where's your man?
Business held him up. But you know him. He'll be here when he comes.
He should get here really fast.
Wait. That's my husband. Always late.
What are you talking about?
What is it? You're afraid that your wife will find out that you've been her friend for the last year with every chance you get.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I have no reason to lie.
Get to hear anything wrong. Anything, Helena.
I'm lost without you. Please.
Touch me.
Please, Manda.
Get your life in order, Nakia.
You don't want her finding out about us now, do you?
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Moving on, the county government of Samburu has flagged off a consignment of 5,280 bags of maize to help hunger-stricken families in the county. Speaking at Maralal National Cereal and Produce Board stores, Samburu County Governor Moses Lenol Kulal said in a total of 125,000 beneficiaries in both lowland and highland areas of the county are being targeted in the relief food distribution program. He said that more than 20,000 families affected by drought across the country are benefiting from cash transfer programs launched by national government and her partners. The governor said that drought intervention initiatives in the region will go a long way in enhancing nutritional status of the families.
Na besides chakula, pia tuko na msaada wa fedha kupitia serikali kuu ambayo jamii kama watu kama 12,000 wanapata msaada kila mwezi, karibu shilingi 5,000 kwa mwezi, na watu wengine 10,000 kutoka kwa development partners wetu, karibu shilingi milioni 300-400 kwa mwaka. Na hii imesaidia sana kwa sababu kwa zaidi ya miezi 8 hatujapata mvua.
Time now for business. Animal feed manufacturers may start importing yellow maize as early as next week in efforts to reduce the prices. Livestock Principal Secretary Hari Kimtai says the National Treasury is at the final stages of approving importation of yellow maize with 99.1% purity after the Ministry of Agriculture revised their 100% GMO-free import requirement.
Animal feed manufacturers could soon be allowed to source yellow maize from Latin countries after the government backtracked on its decision to allow only 100% non-GMO yellow maize importation. The National Treasury is expected to approve a revised Gazette notice this week that reduces the purity level to 99.1%.
The amended Gazette notice is already in the National Treasury, and I believe our Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury, will be able to gazette it as soon as, in fact, as early as this week.
There are shortages in the whole world, and we're hoping to get some more maize and wheat from southern African countries through Tanzania and Zambia and Zimbabwe. And we're working quite closely with government to make sure that we, as a Kenyan consumer, we get enough food on our plate.
Millers had argued that the 100% purity requirement had reduced their yellow maize import sources and had been priced out of the market by multinationals.
The feeds, both fish feeds, livestock feeds, and so forth, the ingredients are very expensive. And there's a proposal that the ministry has done to Treasury to support, to waive some of the taxes on.
The yellow maize imports is expected to reduce the high cost of animal feeds that resulted to a 30% increase of milk prices. This as the government insists milk imports from Uganda will continue despite concerns about the rule of origin of Ugandan dairy products.
Why we are doing this verification is because of the information that we're told that sometimes the milk that comes from Uganda could have been reconstituted. The milk powder has been reconstituted.
This Asoman is expected to import the third consignment of live animals from Kenya next week, after farmers earned over 200 million shillings from the first two consignments earlier this year.
And we've seen a lot of interest now from the Gulf countries. They want more of our product.
Benson Droba for Lunchtime News.
And digitalization is helping to deepen financial inclusion in Africa, helping millions of underbanked people access financial services. EcoBank Group Chief Executive Ade Ayeyemi says commercial leaders are now focusing on increasing their digital footprints to reach more customers. EcoBank says it has reduced physical branches by 50% to 600, increasing its customer base to 30 million accounts.
Digitization is unlocking the potential of the financial sector, with lenders embracing technology in core banking, electronic transfers, digital payments, and data-backed credit solutions. In Kenya, financial technology or fintech has enabled millions of people to access financial services, with commercial lenders upgrading their services to serve a diverse clientele. EcoBank Group Chief Executive Ade Ayeyemi says African leaders must embrace emerging technology to reach the unbanked masses.
One of the challenges that a banking organization have that is distributed across multiple geography is that it's not able to handle its cost. And that the investment in technology has enabled us.
Speaking during EcoBank's 34th annual general meeting held in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, Ayeyemi says technology has enabled the lender to halve its branch network from 1,200 to 600, raising customer numbers to 30 million from 10 million in the last 10 years.
We've been able to increase our customer from about 10 million to 30 million. We've been able to increase our deposits significantly by $2 billion during the pandemic. All of that is because we've created an alternative path to serving our customers.
The bank says deploying digital systems can help financial institutions reduce inefficiencies and branch networks without losing clientele by more than 50%.
Using digital as a means of consuming banking services is important, because without that, during the pandemic, we would not have been able to serve any customer.
EcoBank, which launched its operations in Kenya after acquiring 75% of East African Building Society in 2008, is one of the biggest African commercial banks with branches in 36 countries.
The Insurance Regulatory Authority is probing underwriters' premium rates for boda operators. The authority says overcharging is a major hindrance for millions of riders planning to buy insurance cover. IRA Communication Head Noela Mutanda says boda riders should acquire licenses from insurance agents and brokers to avoid paying errant entities that fail to remit payments to insurers.
The National Treasury in April this year proposed changes to the Insurance Act that would make it illegal for motorcyclists and tuk-tuk operators to operate without cover for their passengers and other road users. The new directive is set to bring in a new business line for insurance companies who will provide cover for the nearly 1.5 million motorcycles plying various routes in the country. This has seen errant agents and brokers dupe boda riders, making them pay for non-existent premiums.
Deal with a licensed agent, because then when they're doing that, then the company, you can be sure that you're dealing with somebody who is legitimately practicing in the industry.
The regulator notes that while several underwriters have third-party insurance policy products, uptake remains minimal as boda operators see it as an unnecessary cost. The IRA noted with concern the high number of general insurers hiking their premiums by over 50% without taking into account different customer risk profiles. Furthermore, riders are turned away by the emerging cases of fraudsters who aim to take advantage of the new gap. IRA Head of Communications Noela Mutanda has encouraged the formation of SACCOs by border operators to reap the benefits of corporate premiums.
And all this is just to bring some order into the sector, and then the type of records and all that, and that registration, everything will be synchronized.
It will be easier for everybody to know importance ya kafa ni nini, na hata kuwa kitorokea askari kwa sababu najua kwamba mimi nikitoroka have been covered with this and this.
Hibak Said for Lunchtime News.
All right, it is time now for our interview segment, and our guest is already in studio, Mr. Joseph Magero, who is the chairman of Kenya's campaign for safer alternatives, or if you like, CASA. And he's here to tell us about the organization and what they do. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, let's delve right into this conversation. Right. What is this organization about from the onset?
Okay, well, Campaign for Safer Alternatives is an organization that assists smokers to quit smoking cigarettes. Those who can quit using products such as nicotine gum, which are WHO recommended, can do so. And those who can't, we advise them to pick up on other products that are coming up in the market.
Okay.
Right.
So generally, what is the difference between, I've seen e-cigarettes and these nicotine products, difference between traditional cigarettes? Is there a difference?
There's a huge difference. Both products contain nicotine, but one product does not contain tobacco. Now, when it comes to smoking cigarettes, it's the burning that releases tar, and that is what causes cancer. But nicotine itself does not cause cancer. It is not carcinogenic. So you have products like electronic cigarettes and oral nicotine products that offer the smoker the same sensation, but minus majority of the harm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you what are the advantages, but I guess you've just said that.
Right.
It offers you the same sensation, but
Yes.
without the harm.
Yes.
Now, talking about harm,
Right.
we have farmers that are into this tobacco farming.
Right.
And then we have manufacturers, and then we have the consumers.
Right.
And there is a tax increase for tobacco. I can see 10% increase in the tobacco tax. How is that going to affect every one of these groups?
Well, my focus is not on the tobacco industry or the farmers. My main focus is on the consumer.
Yes.
So if you overtax this product, you leave them no option but to remain smoking cigarettes. You must understand that products that help smokers quit here in Kenya are very expensive. We don't have cessation services. And a lot of smokers in Kenya don't want to quit. And that's just the honest truth.
Okay.
So availing products that are safer for them should be the main target for government. If you overtax them, then you leave them with no option but to keep smoking. Yeah.
Okay. So you're just offering an alternative?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Not trying to make people stop. It's reducing the harm.
Absolutely. You work your way to quitting. Yeah.
Okay. So what is the balance? That's what I was looking for you to answer. Increasing the tax, does that dissuade any one of these people?
Well, what that does, it will drive the product into the black market. And now you begin to have illicit products being sold that are not regulated, and some of those could be risky for the smoker.
Okay.
So you'd rather regulate them accordingly and make them affordable, and then standardize them. That way you can regulate and know what somebody is using, rather than not being aware of what's happening in the underground. Right.
So how effective are these e-cigarettes?
Public Health England states that the product is 95% safer than cigarettes. The FDA, for example, in America has authorized the products to be sold in the country as safer nicotine products. A country like England, if you go to hospital and you have a problem with smoking, they offer you electronic cigarettes for free, because they understand that nicotine is not the enemy when it comes to smoking, but it's the tar that is released. That's what harms the human body. Right.
Okay. So your organization, what is your agenda? What are you pushing exactly?
We're pushing for favorable laws. Also, we're doing awareness campaigns with policymakers to make them aware that other countries across the world are using these products, and we should begin to look at them, and those products can help a lot of smokers like myself, for example. I quit smoking using similar products, so I know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. What are some of your challenges in this bid?
Well, I mean, we play sort of like a devil's advocate because it's a very complicated field. And me echoing scientific evidence, sometimes we get attacked and they say that we are aligning ourselves with the industry, but really we're just for the consumer. Right.
Okay, so these tax proposals, how do you think it's going to affect the bottom line of tobacco companies in the market?
I can't speak for the industry again, like I've said. I don't represent the industry. Our main focus is for the consumer and for the government policies. If you overtax these products, then you will make them less available in the market. That will do two things. It will mean that the number of smokers will continue to grow, as it's happening in Kenya. We have more than 3.5 million smokers, and 8,000 of them die every year from smoking-related diseases. So if you overtax these products, then you leave them with no option. Majority of us cannot afford even to buy nicotine gum or nicotine patches. Those are very expensive for the common mwananchi. Right.
Okay, so I was going to ask you, how affordable are these e-products or e-cigarettes in comparison to what we have in the market statistically?
Okay, in other countries that are using these products, they make them at least almost the same in terms of cost. So that way, if somebody is going to reach out for a cigarette, they'd rather reach out for this other product because it will give them the same sensation, but it's not as harmful to them as a cigarette. So the prices should be competitive.
Okay, fair enough. So you've been in this organization, or you've been involved in tobacco harm reduction policies across the continent.
Right.
In the last, it says, close to a decade.
Right.
How far have you come? What have you achieved this far, even as you look forward to what you're going to be doing?
Well, we are growing. Right now we are a 9-member organization from 9 different countries, and we are really pushing to spread awareness. And as you can see, it's catching on slowly. Right.
Okay. So apart from awareness, is there anything else you do? Like I see here, create smoke-free environments.
Those are just advocacy efforts we're pushing.
Okay, what kind of efforts are you pushing?
We're pushing for, first of all, for legislators and policymakers to understand the difference between nicotine and tobacco and not put them in the same basket. We also are pushing for awareness. I believe smokers have rights. Just because they smoke does not forfeit their right to health. We also push for their rights. And what else do? We hold conferences in different countries every year. Yeah.
So what can we expect as we finish, finally? What can we expect going forward?
From me or from the government?
Pushing this organization,
what we'd like to see, first of all, is for the Ministry of Health to understand the difference in these products and not put them all together and term them as tobacco products, because they contain no tobacco. Some of them contain nicotine, some do not. Right.
Okay, thank you so much for coming on. All right, that is the chairman of Kenya's Campaign for Safer Alternatives, CASA. That's Joseph Magero, and we're talking about taxation of tobacco. And he really wanted us to understand the difference between e-cigarettes and the traditional cigarettes. He's more concerned about the consumers and reducing the health risk. Thank you so much, Mr. Magero.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Coffee farmers in Makueni County are staring at major coffee losses due to a lack of coffee pulping machines in their factories. The farmers say the machines' crucial processing components were confiscated by their lenders due to unpaid debts amounting to 1.2 million shillings.
The coffee subsector in Mboni, Makueni County, is facing an uncertain future. The sector has seen the number of farmers drop by more than 50% to 4,500 from the previous 10,000 farmers. The move has been attributed to mismanagement of funds within the Kikima Cooperative Society, pushing farmers towards avocado and macadamia farming. A section of the farmers accused the previous management of embezzling their funds and running the cooperative down. The farmers have also decried low returns from their crops due to high post-harvest losses following the failure of the factory's pulping machines.
Shida ni kubwa kwa sababu mashine zile zinasaga kahawa asikutengenezwa kwa muda unaofaa. Shida ni mismanagement of funds kwa ile kamiti ya kwanza, ile iliondolewa na ile hiko sasa. Inaonekana hile ilitoka ndio ina influence wale wana manage, wale wana maintain machines za kusaga
kahawa. Niko na eka moja wa kulima kahawa, na mimi matarajio yangu ya kahawa kila mwaka naweza pokea 40k, kwa sababu mimi tegemeo yangu ni kwa shamba. Tegemeo yangu ni kwa shamba. Sababu hiyo kamati ambao tumechangua ndio imetuletea shida za saa hii, kahawa imeiba na hatujui mahali pa kupeleka.
Out of the 7 factories in the area, only one was in working condition.
Previously, we have had some forensic audit that was done, and actually it was touchy on the previous management, whereby some individuals were found to have mismanaged the society funds. And I urge the government to swiftly take action, and those proprietors who did illegalities have to be taken to book, so that even they should be forced to pay back all the losses, all the monies that were lost.
The farmers are now calling on the government to intervene to save their only source of livelihood. Ndosamo Kami for Lunchtime News.
And the government has started a crackdown on unlicensed tree nursery operators in the country. This is aimed at tackling the sale and supply of uncertified seeds in the Kenyan market, which is affecting fruit production. The Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization is urging tree nursery operators to register with the Horticultural Crops Directorate and get certification from the Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Services as required by the law.
The country has witnessed a surge in the number of nursery tree operators, especially along the major highways. However, most of the operators are unregistered, posing a major threat to the country's seedlings business. Under the law, operators are required to register with HCD and get certification from KBC to run a tree nursery business. The government, together with other development partners, has embarked on training of tree nursery operators to ensure seedlings sold to farmers are clean.
It is necessary to train them because mango is one of the highly valued crop in the country. It is one of those fruits that are bringing good money. Like last year, that is from 2019 to 2020, it is ranking the second from banana, and it brought a value of about 15 billion.
The project, dubbed Markup Kenya, is being implemented by the United Nations Industrial Development Organization in partnership with the government and the European Union. To increase nursery operator skill set, the EU-funded Market Access Upgrade Program and Kenya Agriculture, Livestock and Research Organization have trained tree nursery operators from Makueni, Embu and Machakos on proper clean mango seedlings husbandry to ensure operators produce clean planting material.
Tunataka tuwafundishe vile wanaweza kutengeneza nursery zao waweze ili wakulima wengi wasikose mahali ambako kwa kwenda kutafuta nursery ambazo ziko certified.
Soko ya European Union huwa iko na value ambayo iko juu kidogo, na tunaweza himiza wakulima wengi wakipanda maembe waweze kujua ni variety gani ambazo hiyo soko inahitaji.
Farmers have been advised to source for mango seedlings from accredited nurseries to produce quality fruits that can compete in the international market. The Markup program aims at promoting food safety and market access for selected Kenyan produce locally, regionally and internationally. Benson Rioba for Lunchtime News.
Tanzania plans to commercialize subsectors in the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries by leasing national land to Tanzanians and investors. Investors are expected to have proper business plans aimed at raising quality livestock breeds for meat and dairy production. Here the and much more from across the continent.
Fisheries has unveiled its budget forecast of 268 billion for the next financial year, aimed at transforming subsectors to contribute more to national income. The budget will facilitate the construction and renovation of 4 livestock watering holes in drought-affected areas. The government is expected to invest in fishing infrastructure under the growth of sea creatures by constructing and renovating fishing ports, dams, markets and fishing centers. The National Ranching Company intends to lease its 5 blocks with 32,500 hectares to Tanzanian and foreign investors in a bid to encourage commercial ranching and increase the efficiency of the subsector. Meanwhile, civil servants under the Zimbabwe Confederation of Public Sector Trade Unions are set to march against the government's continued reluctance to pay them in US dollars. Government workers are demanding the reinstatement of their $540 wage after it was scrapped and replaced with Zimbabwe dollars, which have continuously lost value. The high inflationary environment and exchange rate disparities in the market have left the civil servants barely able to afford basic goods and services. Poor wages and working conditions have already seen the government losing manpower in the education and health sectors to well-off countries. Finally, South Africa is expected to spend $250 billion over the next 3 decades to move the country to a green economy. Half of the investment is needed to ramp up wind and solar power projects as the country suspends coal-fired plants that currently supply the bulk of its energy needs. The project will transition the country to a low-carbon, more equitable energy system under an ambitious decarbonization scenario. The funding is also earmarked for gas plants and energy flexibility, new transmission lines, as well as ensuring that thousands of coal workers whose jobs are threatened will be reskilled.
All right, let's now switch gears to sports. The Golden State Warriors defeated Dallas Mavericks 120 to 110 last night to seal their return to the NBA Finals. Warriors are the first team to reach the finals 6 times in 8 years since the Chicago Bulls in the 1990s.
State Warriors braved stiff opposition to beat Dallas Mavericks 120-110 to seal their return to the NBA Finals.
In these playoffs from them, this is another elimination game they face. Curry with a 3.
Kept the laces tied, and they just worked through with the rubber band. So it was a scare, but something to look out for.
And Allie, we know he missed about 3 weeks, 12 games late in the season.
After missing out the past 2 years, the Warriors clinched a 4-1 win in the Western Conference Finals as Klay Thompson scored a game-high 32 points.
Poole, Curry, wide open 3, Thompson. Well, Doncic resting. Thompson fired. That's another 3. He's
Luka Doncic scored 28 points for Dallas, who used a 15-0 run late in the third quarter to give themselves a chance after falling 25 points down. Golden State Warriors will face either the Boston Celtics or the Miami Heat on 2nd June in the finals. For Sports News, I'm Dion Mogire.
And in the Safari Rally, Sebastian Ogier and his namesake Sebastian Loeb will for the first time in history go head-to-head on Kenyan soil at next month's WRC Safari Rally Kenya in Naivasha. The duo are on partial WRC campaigns this season, which means they will only take part in selected events.
Sebastian Ogier and Sebastian Loeb will be gracing the iconic Kenyan fixture for the second time in their colourful racing careers, which have culminated into a combined 17 World Rally Championship titles. Loeb is indeed the most successful of the 2 speed stars, with 9 titles to his name, while Ogier is an 8-time world champion. The duo are on partial WRC campaigns this season, which means they will only take part in selected events. Loeb, aged 48, is returning to Kenya after 2 decades, having finished 5th on his debut safari in 2002. Ogier, on the other hand, won last year's World Championship return to Africa in a dramatic last leg comeback. The event will revolve around Nairobi and Naivasha, covering a total distance of 1,226.23 kilometers. Shakedown returns to Ndulele Conservancy for the 2nd year running on June 22nd, whereas Kasarani Super Special Stage on June 23rd will see WRC Cruise Reke in the Rally 1 hybrids.
And at exactly 58 minutes past 1 p.m., we come to the end of Lunchtime News, but more news on our website at www.kbc.co.ke. I am Nissy. Imano Lucy Mora has been our sign language interpreter. Good afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Kupata lazima nishike kama sikiza tune yako. Bonyeza *811 *962 hash.
Lazima nishike mapema. Nisiposhika hii simu mapema utakasirika. Unajua mimi nikiwa mtu ya marathon najua niko na experience kabisa. Niko na experience. If you don't hurry, you will not break the record. Okay, wacha nishike hii simu.
Kupata lazima nishike, bonyeza *811 *962 hash. *811 *962 hash.
Aha, msikilizaji wa Radio Taifa, karibu tena kwenye kipindi kinajulikana kama Rada ni Yesu. Kila Jumapili kinaletwa kwako na rubani unayempenda anajulikana kama Mr. Rafton Iggy. Ungana nami kila Jumapili kuanzia mida ya saa 12 mpaka saa 1 usiku. Kuna miziki noma sampuli ya hii.